July 8th, 2022. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by NYC Demon Diva Issa tonight to talk about SmackDown and Rampage. But before we dive into that, huge news in the wrestling world today. Wrestling Inc., of course, has all the details, but Raj Giri is here to talk to us about the latest revelations regarding Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess to kind of get everyone caught up, back last month, the WWE board of directors had been investigating a settlement that Vince McMahon had made with a former paralegal who he allegedly had an affair with. It was a $3 million settlement. And at that time, they said they were investigating other settlements as well, including other ones with John Laurinaitis. And so this, what came out today seemed to be an update on that, because that was what was already there. And then today, I mean, obviously the details were really, really bad, to say the least. Basically, Vince had allegedly paid over $12 million to four women that they know of over a 16-year period as part of NDAs to keep them quiet about sexual relationships. And they said one was a $1 million NDA in 2006 to a former manager who was allegedly involved with him. Another was in 2008 for $1 million to a contractor who said that McMahon had sent her nude photos and unsolicited and claimed he sexually harassed her. The biggest of the NDAs was in 2018 to a former wrestler who said that she was pressured into having oral sex, and then afterwards she refused to continue on having a relationship with him. She got demoted, and they declined to renew her contract in 2005. And then finally, the most recent one, the one that kind of spurred it on, was the $3 million to a former paralegal that he allegedly had a sexual relationship. And later, John Laurinaitis allegedly had a sexual relationship with her, and she claimed that she was passed on like a toy. This was the one that spurred a friend of hers to contact authorities in WWE and kind of spawned this investigation. So messy stuff, I mean, to say the least. It's yeah, I mean, I think the best way would be to kind of take questions from the comments and any questions you guys have or any thoughts you guys have, and kind of go from there. But there's really kind of a lot here.
I mean, I know there's a lot of speculation around the details with this. I think the question on everyone's mind is, in light of this, he's already stepped down as CEO. He was at SmackDown tonight. He did those almost defiant appearances on screen. Denise Salcato, I believe, was reporting tonight that Netflix, word is the Vince McMahon documentary that's done and in post-production is being indefinitely shelved. I guess the question is, Raj, I mean, you've been covering this business now for over 20 years. Does Vince McMahon survive this, or was tonight his last WWE TV for the foreseeable future?
Well, Vince, basically he doesn't own the majority of the stock, but he owns the majority of a certain class that gives him 80% of voting power. So He can't be voted out. So basically, he would either have to resign or be pressured out. And obviously, you got these huge TV deals with NBC and Fox, and if they feel the pressure to not have Vince on board, that could happen. I mean, the WWE losing those TV deals. I can't say this 100% for sure, but TV deals usually have a morality clause, and I'm pretty sure those do. And if they could cut those TV deals, I mean, that is crippling to WWE, because that is the reason why they're just swimming in money right now. Mm-hmm. So while he officially can't be voted out, he can be forced out. And look, these are bad. I mean,
yes, Undeniable.
There's no way undeniable. I mean, they're terrible. I mean, they're very serious. The former wrestler, that $7.5 million NDA. I just don't see how you can get past that. It just seemed, I don't know. There are guys like, Vince has gotten away with accusations in the past, and you see other rich people that don't, obviously, and then you see other rich people that do. You see other CEOs that have to step down for far less serious accusations.
Far less. And not to excuse what they've done, but I was thinking about that tonight. I was thinking about other situations where people were forcibly removed from their posts over things that I mean were not as criminal as some of what he's been accused of.
Yeah. And then you had, I mean, this is not political, but you had Donald Trump, who had some very serious accusations, and he's probably going to run for president again. So, I don't know. It's just, it's a very complicated thing. Because in the business world, when people think of wrestling, they only think of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so how that hurts the company with him completely stepping away, we have no idea, because if you look at it business wise, most of their big deals are baked in. They're set. So Fox would continue on, NBC would continue on, WWE would continue making tons and tons of money. And you remove Vince from there, how does that business world react? What happens from there? I know everyone's saying Triple H and Stephanie. No one knows what Triple H and Stephanie, how much of what Vince actually does can they really take over? Triple H, obviously, he ran NXT. It was not a success when he ran it. It was, people loved it. The fans enjoyed it, but it got beat by an upstart company right off the bat. Wow. And I mean, it did. Now, granted, they didn't have the budget that the main roster did. They had to run basically a college, auditorium. It's larger than that, but they didn't have the advantages that, AEW, they're going to full arenas and they were doing a lively show, whereas NXT had to run in these small, in the small rinky dink 200, 300 person studio. And, it didn't have the advantages that a Raw or SmackDown did. We haven't seen Triple H really in charge of one of those brands and see what he could do with that kind of budget, with that kind of star power. So there's just so many unknowns right now. But I personally, I don't see how Vince gets past this.
Yeah, I don't know.
These are way too serious, way too it's just disgusting,
Keep Isa, if you have any questions, I need to just plug something in my connections.
I was just not to play devil's advocate here, because obviously we know that what he did is absolutely not acceptable. On top of that, we do know that Wall Street Journal has been known for releasing these bombshells like articles on some of the greatest CEOs, like the Elizabeth Holmes thing with Terrano started with a Wall Street Journal article. The WeWork CEO also got taken down by them. But if there's an NDA and people releasing this information, regardless of who the sources are, what does that do for that aspect of thing and how credible it is, or how much confirmation they can get about what happened if the other side can't really come clean about what actually happened and this is all rumor coming from sources?
So this episode, so with some of this, I'm just going to tell you what my speculation is, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty accurate, but I think it's clear that all of this has been coming from people on the board of the directors. So it's direct. It's not from third party. I think it's pretty clear this is from the investigation that's going on. So this is direct. It's, it's not a third party rumor. So yeah, I think because so far WWE has not denied a single thing. The one statement they put out when it first came out was that Vince did not use corporate funds to settle this NDA. That it was, it was all his own funds. And I believe that's kind of where it stands. We don't know with these other NDAs if that was from corporate funds or not. The original report with the paralegal, her salary was
That was
bumped to
from his own money, supposedly, right?
right, but she received a raise, basically doubled her salary once she allegedly started the sexual relationship with Vince. And
right, but corporate knows how to cover that. You just give them a title that's worthy of that salary, and that's how. Obviously, you go to HR. HR knows exactly what's going on, but you say, "Hey, this person just went from a paralegal to a VP of ops." You just give them the title that's worth the salary, just to cover it. Like, I'm just saying,
right.
This man has been doing this for years. He's not stupid. There's gonna be a trail to cover what you did as well.
Sure. But if it comes out that she only got that raise because of this relationship, even though $100,000 raise is a drop in the bucket for WWE, that speaks to the corp. I mean, that's coming from the top, the very, very, very top. And that's kind of speaks to the corporate atmosphere of the company. And that's very damaging. So, I think the fact that this is, I believe, is coming from the board of directors and directly tied to the investigations leads me to believe these aren't rumors, that this is what they're finding, and we have not seen WWE deny anything yet.
Raj, given what we know, and I don't want to be light in saying this by making this comparison, because I know we toss around the comparison between Succession and the fictional family there and the McMahons a lot. Do you think if the board is leaking this or putting some of this out there, do you think that there are some on the board that see Vince as an impediment towards sale or a change of control, and they think that strategically punishing him on the public stage advances their agenda perhaps to sell WWE?
I don't think so. Just yesterday, a member of the board, Connor Shell, resigned, and the timing seems very suspect. And they were looking to further the agenda. They would have stayed on.
Yeah.
Again, the Shell said that he was resigning, devoting time to his business, but the next day this story comes out.
Yeah.
Again, this is my speculation, but that timing is very suspect. So it doesn't seem to me like they're furthering their agenda, as they're legitimately concerned about what's about
that's
this
good.
accusation.
I think it's very valid. I mean, and this is horrifying, some of the stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, and I want to make clear that Nick Khan is not a part of the board. He's part of the board of directors. Him, Stephanie, Triple H, Vince. But those four. I haven't done this in a while. Those four are not a part of the investigation. They are excluded from this investigation.
Yeah,
so it's the other 8 board members.
I mean, it's just crazy. And reading some of this stuff, I mean, you think about whatever rumors there have been over the years, like just in particular the 2005 incident really confirms a lot of the worst allegations and suspicions people have had.
I mean, there have been other allegations in the past.
Yes, absolutely.
Chatterton, the masseuse in 2000. Yeah. I'm forgetting the exact year, but I think it was 2005. But he'd never, there had been a legal battle back and forth between Vince and Rita Chatterton, but it was actually Vince that initially sued Rita for a 92 appearance on Geraldo, where Rita first came out with a lot of the claims with what happened in 1986. WWE, then WWF sued her, and then they were countersued. It was going back and forth, and then the whole steroid trial happened, and they were like, "We don't, we can't be having this as well." So it was basically all dropped.
I mean, I never thought he would step down as CEO, but I just don't know. It makes WWE collateral damage the longer he stays on. Not that this wouldn't be a story if he was fully removed and retired, but this, I think, is just this story is going to become an albatross to the entire company and everyone that works there, and stockholders for that matter.
Yeah. I just don't see how they get past it. And with Vince, even right now, I think most people believe that Vince is still in charge.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Stephanie is still kind of the figurehead CEO, but Vince is still running the show, and clearly he is. I don't see how that would be acceptable going forward. And again, we don't know until it happens. Vince can't be voted out. He's very headstrong. He's got a giant ego, which helped him to get to where he is. But for him to show up at SmackDown tonight, that's when all this breaks out. It's not normal behavior.
That's actually what my next question or speculation was here. Is like, we read a report from Fightful Select today about how defiant he was, even yelling certain things in regards to the first article coming out. Him showing up again tonight, what does that tell us about? What do you think he thinks he can get away with this? Or like, I don't know. I feel like if I was him, I would just take some time away. Even if I'm going to come back as CEO later, like, let the whole thing go away, take some time away. But the fact that he's still there, I don't even know. That's the part that I'm just so confused about.
So is he on camera tonight? I just got
No, he wasn't. Okay. Thank God.
So to me, it felt like, it's when again, this is my speculation, but when I was reading the reports today, it felt to me like Vince did those TV appearances as almost like he wanted to do a last hurrah in front of the fans, knowing that these stories would be coming out. And again, I can't say it for sure. That's just what it seemed like to me.
Do you think that would have happened before the stories came out? Because he wasn't on TV forever, and then for him to make an appearance the day that the news come out, I'm pretty sure people had heads ups on when this was going to come out.
No, that investigation started that week in June. And when
it started in April.
In April is when the board got the email.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. That's when they got the email from the friend. The investigation didn't start till June. You would think that Vince obviously knew about it, but as far as knowing that it would get public, once it got public, I think that's when things changed. And again,
I've seen a lot of stories in regards to, at least Wall Street Journal, taking down other CEOs in which people have plenty of heads ups and they even try to fight these articles coming out. So I cannot put it past Vince or somebody in WWE to not have some kind of time frame on when this was coming out, because there was, like, I mentioned it earlier, even the case with Elizabeth Holmes, like they had to wait forever to publish the article on her, with the whistleblower, because she tried to fight putting it out there for so long. The guy with WeWork did the same thing as well. So I'm just saying, I would assume that there had to be some kind of rumorings that they would know a time frame from when this was coming out if they couldn't avoid it coming out, because I guarantee you if they knew, they probably also try to fight it.
For sure. But when it did come out, it wasn't like he did something meaningful on TV. So it was clearly a reaction to the story. And I think it might have just been him knowing that things are coming out now. They're going to get worse. Because a lot of times you'll hear that there's a story that's being worked on and then nothing comes of it.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought because of the NDA, it wasn't going to come out, be public or whatever. And when it did, he's like, hey, I need to make a couple TV appearances. And
it's weird, the reaction. Some people were like applauding it, like, yeah, Vince, don't let them try and tear you down. And it's just like what? The reaction was very weird.
Yeah.
And tonight, I mean, I was looking at that audience. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, how many of the people in the crowd here tonight do you think even read the Wall Street Journal, let alone?
Well, that story also showed up at ESPN, Yahoo, and everything.
Okay, so this is where shit's about to get real, right? You've got the partnership with Netflix. We've already heard, through the grapevine about Netflix. They got the partnership with The Ringer, A&E TV. Like everywhere. You said, it's like, when does
NBC,
this become
Universal?
Yeah, this has the potential to make them toxic if it's still Vince, so materially involved in the company.
And who has the concept of the product as a whole better than Vince? And that's the thing.
I mean, do you think though? I mean, really, Raj? I mean, let's be objective about this. And do you really think, with everything else in the world of television, so AEW that famously has like no writers in the traditional sense, right? But you think about the world of TV, you think about NXT, you think about every other promotion out there, you don't think anyone else can put together 5 hours of wrestling TV each week that couldn't at least be as good as what we've seen lately? Because this isn't Attitude Era. This isn't peak WWE. I mean, Raj, you didn't watch tonight, but I'm telling you, like, and I know, you do Mondays, but how often do you get on the Monday Night Raw podcast and just go, man, I'll tell you what, that 3 hours, no one does it like Vinnie Mac, like, come on. You don't think like just an AI program, a monkey throwing darts at a roster. Like, you don't think there's anyone else that could even produce something comparable to watch?
Well, you're talking about creative, and that's a different story. That's what he's doing.
That's his role, though, technically.
You think that's all Vince is doing is creative? Like his day, all week, he's just working on the scripts of the show.
Okay, but what do you think, though, he really does? Because licensing,
he does say he writes the scripts 5 minutes before. That's the least of his worries, honestly. Done that day.
What else is he doing, though? Nick Khan is doing the
obviously
big
women
deals. Yeah. Well, okay, so Nick Khan's doing the big money deals, and he's the power broker behind the scenes. You've got entire licensing, charity. There's so many divisions. What do you think Vince? Okay, so this untangible Vince magic. What do you think he applies it to?
Well,
that no one else.
Just today it was coming out that he's flying to Vancouver to meet with John Cena. It's dealing with all these talent relationships that he's had over the years. It's dealing with the he's the one that's friends with the Rupert Murdochs and the power brokers at NBC and the high level brass. And he again, when people in the high levels in business think of wrestling, they know Vince. He's the guy. It's not that simple to just replace someone like that with anyone, even if it's a family member or whatnot. I mean, you see it all the time where a business is replaced by someone else and they just go down. He's not just doing creative.
I don't want to play devil's advocate at this point, but that's what I always end up doing in this podcast, according to Glenn. But it's like Vince was one of the very few people that managed to report the biggest profit for companies during the pandemic and after. And I feel like that is something that a lot of them look at, right? It's like people, I saw one of the chats in the comments in the chat, for example, he's not going to jail. This isn't even a legal investigation. This is an investigation from the board of WWE. There's so far, as of now, right? Nothing has been said to be illegal. So this is just a board of like the board is trying to see if he mismanaged funds or if the company culture needs to change. And that's all there is to it. So I feel like they have to look at these allegations, but also have to look at what he's done, to Raj's point, the profit that he's turning in, the deals that he's bringing in, because he's Vince McMahon and be doing this for so long before a decision is made whether they try to push him out or not.
But I'm telling you, and you can understand this, Raj, think about 30 years ago, people would have said, oh my God, what would Disney be without Michael Eisner? People even said, what would Disney be without Walt Disney? Think about more recently, what would Apple be without Steve Jobs? Apple's become a much bigger company since then. And it's not that Steve Jobs
Apple before Steve Jobs.
Yeah, I know.
When they got rid of him, the first time. I know. So, and they almost collapsed.
Yeah.
So,
but I think this myth, though, of like the one like savior figure who keeps the company running, I don't care whether it's Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Vince McMahon, whatever. It's like corporations
they keep going. Yeah.
But and then let's get a couple of these super chats real quick.
Yeah. Joel Wood, 999. Vince has barely done anything CEO wise the last few years. See. Joel Wood agrees. Nick Khan has done most of the big deals, including the one with Fox, so I think that would continue as long as he's involved.
You would think so. But again, again, in the corporate world, Nick Khan is not dealing with any of the talent. He's not dealing with any of the wrestlers. They're not talking about going to Vince and for better or for worse, Vince's eye at certain talent has often proven to be correct. Now you can say, he was pushing Roman Reigns all those years. How many people complain on and off, and he's the biggest star in wrestling right now.
Well,
he is.
But wrestling is also smaller. Wrestling has gotten actually considerably smaller. So the Romans got bigger, wrestling's gotten smaller.
Well, wrestling's bigger than it was a year ago.
Well, yeah.
It's the business has gotten bigger, but regardless, he has a certain eye for certain things, whether you agree or not. Look, I've criticized Vince many times for being on creative. I feel like his ship has sailed on the creative end. I feel like you need to kind of pass that buck on. A true and I think Vince is a genius for everything he's done, but a true genius also will recognize where they're no longer strong and get people in to fill in those roles. And he never let go of creative. And I feel like creative has kind of, stunted WWE's popularity, but they are hot right now, as hot as they've been in a long time. Real quick, I got to say thank you, Peter Bahi. I've been taking a little time off this summer after the sale, but it is good to be back.
Yeah, I mean, Raj, what happens when you have somebody that leads a company and then they sell that company and then, they're still there, but is it ever really the same as it was before? They're taking time off, they're pursuing other interests. I mean,
different owners have different visions. And whether or not the new vision, I think, look, Static Media bought the company, bought Wrestling Inc. in May. They have a lot of big things planned, and I think it's exciting. And they're doing things that I really couldn't have done. So I'm excited with what they're doing. There's certain things we're not going to agree on, but
when I think, it's what you're saying, I mean, I think are very, I'm sure, like weighing the pros and the cons and it made sense for you, but also it's a bit of an ego check because you have to give up that control. Vince giving up that control, like, even if he was forced, like, which his duties have in theory been reduced, but I just don't see him ever able to give up that control.
Well, it would have to be a legitimate giving up of control, not where he's still running the show, but he just doesn't have the title of CEO. Time will tell. I mean, I can't see Vince giving up that control. He's been doing this for way too long. To this day, he works countless hours, late into the night. He's still working out at like 2 a.m. After he's done working. So, you look, a WWE without Vince in charge is something we've always kind of wondered what it would be like.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it seems like it could happen. Who knows if it will, but it definitely seems the most plausible that it's been in since I started watching back in 1987.
Well, this weekend I think will be key, right? So if the Netflix rumors are true, and Denise is pretty good on her sources usually, but if Spotify and The Ringer start to take a step back, like if other people start to kind of distance themselves, that I think will be the signal.
I'm more curious about all of the other big sponsors. I mean, Netflix is kind of falling apart themselves.
Yeah.
So they have pulled a lot of projects out, and I would assume that somebody giving them a reason to pull another project out and save them some money. Maybe it supposedly is post-production, so there was money spent on it. But Netflix itself is a company that's not doing the best right now. So I want to see what happens when it comes time to renegotiate these TV deals, because these last TV deals were historically huge. Like they were over $1 billion each. So I want to see what happens when it comes down to that.
And let me just say, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I mean, that's a huge point. Is right now, TV is kind of struggling. You see, like all these streaming services, they're cutting their budgets. Warner Media is cutting back all over the place. Netflix, they've been hurting. So with WWE pulling in the kind of numbers that they are, it's like, how strong are they going to go? Again, these charges are very serious. It's So
no, this was crazy. This makes the first story from a little while ago, look like
because the first story
was a warm up.
Well, and it seemed, and look, obviously someone in a position of power, with an employee, but in the Wall Street Journal story, it said that the employee would be kind of really talking to her colleagues about the relationship with Vince, and almost like seemed really happy about it, to where the boss had to tell her to kind of calm that down. And it almost seemed like it was once Laurinaitis got into the picture that it got weird. I don't know. That's what it seemed like to me.
You think?
Right.
No, this is just all crazy. So Joel Wood, $4.99 super chat saying talent has been overwhelmingly positive towards Stephanie, given the allegations. I'm not sure dealing with talent is beneficial to Vince right now. And that's true as well. I mean, you have to wonder, like in the locker room. So, Raj, let me ask you this. You're an insider. What have you heard as far as talent reactions to this?
Not much. Like I said, I've kind of been taking the last few weeks off. But the things I have heard is that most people believe that Vince is still in charge. Stephanie has been great to deal with. So many people have always had positive experiences with Stephanie, but I don't think anyone or very many people believe that she's really in charge.
Bear Hudson $10 super chat saying, look at the Washington Commanders owner and his recent track record. As long as you continue to generate revenue and profit, you'll keep your position and job. You won't step down. But that's where the partners come into play. Is if the partners cost revenue, that's the answer, right?
I'm not familiar with Daniel Snyder.
I have no clue about that. And I didn't want to say his name just in case because you know the story. But yeah, I guess the owner of the Washington Commanders. I don't know. I mean, and a lot of people do get away with bad behavior because they're considered valuable.
This one is. The fact that there was an on-air talent allegedly that was demoted for not doing sexual favors and then basically fired. That's a gigantic.
And then given $7.5 million to keep quiet about it.
I mean, that's gigantic.
Yeah, that's not misunderstanding money like we've seen on some of these other allegations where the defense, and I'm not saying this is right, but the defense is like, oh, it was worth it just to pay this small amount rather than fighting in court and go through the hassle. Like $7.5 million is not like, well, it was cheaper than than going to court over it. It's like, no, that's like something wrong has happened for you to pay somebody that much money.
Yeah, to that super chat's point, didn't Elon Musk just come out that he had twins with one of his executives? Like,
didn't he joke about that too?
Yeah, I'm sorry. And maybe the New York City corporate version of me just don't see anything happening to him because I work for the old billionaire that owns half of everything. And I don't think that what he did is right, but I can also see it not leading to anything.
But having an affair or something like that, or having children out of, on the side in a consensual relationship is different than turning an employee down and then firing, not firing them, but letting them go, demoting them, then letting them go. And that's just different in my opinion.
Yeah, look, if someone's having an extramarital affair with someone that they don't have a position of power over, like they're not responsible for their paycheck, I don't have a problem with that.
And even if, look, I do think it's problematic when there is, but it's still different when it's consensual.
Yeah.
And once it reaches,
there are shades, there are levels. Like this is not, this isn't just all like good or bad. It's like there are different levels. Of
right.
Bad.
Exactly.
I get it. And let me say, yes, a fair outside non-office, but providing that the relationship allows for that. And it's not, who knows what's going on with Vince and Linda, but no, this is nuts. So here's the real prediction of this, Raj. And I know you got a Friday evening to get back to, but I'll ask you first, is this the end of more details coming out or more allegations and instances coming out? Or do you think there's going to be more?
Oh, that's, I could easily see more coming out. Maybe not NDAs, but other experiences, in the past. Usually when stuff like this breaks, again, I believe that all this is stemming from the board of directors investigations into the NDAs. And because, they said last month, there was more NDAs that they were looking into. There was another one with Laurinaitis. That's exactly what came out. I think there definitely could be more. But I can't say for sure. That's just my hunch that every single relationship that Vince had, or inappropriate action, they managed to catch and put an NDA on it. I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Maybe it did.
I think if Raj speculations are right, and this is all internal coming from the board, then it's not gonna stop until they get him to resign. I feel like they put the first one out there, didn't do anything. Let's put more out there. It didn't do anything. They'll keep putting info out there until they get what they want.
Crazy times. I didn't think there would ever be a circumstance, but I'll tell you, in the last 6 weeks, and then last 6 weeks, it's gotten a lot more of a possibility. And today, it got a hell of a lot closer to seeming like a reality that Vince McMahon could be done with WWE.
It's insane. It's insane times. The last 2 months have been like the most insane wrestling news story months in maybe decades, as far as different stories that are breaking out at the same time. You had gigantic stories there, here and there, but not this many crazy stories. And this Vince one, it could be one of the biggest wrestling stories we've seen.
Yeah. Billy Gunn was a coach and got let go because he was using performance enhancing drugs for bodybuilding that had nothing to do with his coaching job at the Performance Center.
Well, yeah, every situation's different.
Yes, 2 Dimes is no longer with Tony D'Angelo because maybe he failed the test.
Because Tony D'Angelo threw him into the river and made him sleep with the fish.
Are you watching NXT? Raj, let's talk about something lighthearted. Have you been watching NXT?
Nah, I've been skimming through it.
I mean, Tony D'Angelo, there's some high points. It's fun again. Nikita Lyons, Tony D'Angelo. There's a lot to like.
Yeah. All right, I'll put in my NXT thoughts here in a second. Peter Bahi, we did put his
Jesus, Peter.
I said thank you, Peter. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
NXT. Look, I think it's very important for it because they're building the stars for the main roster. Clearly, they're not, it's not a rating show. They're not putting Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins on there. They're trying to build stars and, trying to do whatever they can to get some decent ratings, but clearly ratings are not a focus. And I think that's great. And I think you need this show. But to me right now, NXT is like OVW. I didn't watch OVW back then. I skim it to see what talent are on, but the acting is bad because it's supposed to be. It's giving them experience to learn for the main roster. The promos are often bad. Again, that's how you learn. That's how you gain experience. So I totally think NXT is a great thing. I have a hard time watching it. But
okay. Last thing. How real is the Triple H's back? What does that mean?
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I think it is what it is. He's back. He's helping Stephanie. Yeah. I think he's involved with NXT again. And look, I think here's one of the biggest problems WWE has had, and Vince, is they haven't made that clear succession plan. When you were talking about Steve Jobs and Elon Musk or whoever, there is the people that are kind of put in place to easily take over those roles. Whereas with WWE, they had the co-presidents, Michelle Wilson and God, who was it? George Barrios. They're fired. Nick Khan's only been here maybe 2-3 years. They haven't had like a long-term succession plan where it's clear who's going to take over once Vince would step down. Yeah, it seemed like it was Stephanie for a while. It seemed like it was Shane 25 years ago. And so I think that's one thing that's hurt it, is Vince never fully trusted someone to take over from him. But now I think it's going to be, there's not going to be a single person. There's going to be a single president, whether it's Stephanie McMahon, CEO, Nick Khan is president still. Nick Khan is doing all the business. Stephanie McMahon is kind of, working with talent, kind of doing a lot of the other stuff Vince did. But I don't know. The succession plan has just never been clearly defined.
No, I'm convinced Vince McMahon doesn't have a will because he's convinced the wills are for people who plan on dying.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Raj. Have a good rest of your Friday. We're gonna.
All right, take care.
SmackDown. You missed a lot.
I heard. All right, take care.
Well, have a good night, Raj. Thanks.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
Yep. Okay, the SmackDown. Issa, what'd you think of SmackDown tonight?
It's a horrible show.
Well, that's your SmackDown coverage. Issa, what'd you think of Rampage tonight?
It was decent.
Okay, there you have it. So follow Issa on Twitter. She's an OIC.
Have a great night, everybody.
I'm McLean Rubenstein. I mean, what's there to talk about? We just have to talk. Like, dude, what was it?
I mean,
Like,
there's a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's go through this. I mean, I don't want to shortchange our loyal, faithful SmackDown.
Right. It was tough to get through from the beginning because of all the news that dropped today. Let's start with that. You don't go into the SmackDown like in that kind of mood, like, yeah, let's watch some wrestling. With
when that came up at the beginning, like you don't stand up and put your hand over the heart and go, then, now, forever, together. Thank you, WWE. Thank you.
Vince. I do it thinking about us having to cover it, but then Alfred just freaking bounces on us. Like Alfred is like together when it's a good.
He knew the story was breaking today, and he's like, I don't want to deal with all this.
Yeah, the street sent him the text.
I wouldn't even think about that. Oh shit. Keith Buck 99 super chat, was Vince at SmackDown tonight? And if so, wow, yeah, apparently Vince was at SmackDown backstage tonight. And I bet you they had to talk him out of going on the air.
Oh my
I bet
God.
you he wanted to go out and say hi to the people.
Ridiculous. He needs to take some time away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything. So okay, let me just
I can tell you exactly how SmackDown opened up.
Oh yeah, because it was with
I have been yearning. I have been missing. Yearning. My body was yearning for this moment. The return of the tribal chief, the head of the table, the most beautiful, the greatest of all time, Roman Reigns.
And then Paul Heyman, who's just becoming Marty Feldman at this point out there with the overacting. It was fine, but in light of everything,
no, it wasn't. They wasted. If you're only going to do 3 Roman Reigns appearances before SummerSlam, or 2, I believe, why would you waste it on this? Like it felt like. I mean, he looked great. He looked beautiful. The beard, it was so on point. The hair, oh my God, he looked great. But why would you? Like it felt like a wasted opportunity. And listen, I'm sorry, but Theory with the briefcase, when you see him like come out to Roman Reigns, that's a failed cash in if I ever saw one.
Yeah, that seemed really hokey tonight. So Roman was out there. They were hyping up the match with Brock at SummerSlam. Austin's coming out and doing like a fake out. I think the problem was, look, anything that opened the show tonight was in a very unfortunate position. And
no, it was Roman Reigns and juices were tilted.
I actually think Liv would have been a better choice to really take people's mind off things. Like, because with Roman, this wasn't an eventful Roman Reigns appearance, to your point.
It's always an eventful Roman Reigns appearance, especially in my pants. Sorry, Glenn.
Corey Graves was on commentary tonight because Pat McAfee was out.
Yes.
Baron Corbin attacked him. The Viking Raiders came in. They took on Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Match of the night by far.
Let's talk about how this was 2-minute match. It was a squash for the Viking Raiders. We were like 28 minutes. 28 minutes into the show, this was the first match.
Yeah. Kofi and Xavier had officially sanctioned ass beating tickets.
What?
Less said about that, the better. But the Viking Raiders laid them out.
This was horrible. It was horrible. It was
Corbin was on commentary. I liked Corbin on commentary tonight.
Oh my! No, I didn't. And we'll get into why in a second.
Do we hear about how Corbin did in Vegas?
No. What a lack of continuation.
I know.
Like, I'm sorry, such a missed opportunity to at least double his money or like something, right?
Yeah. Okay, so Corbin was on commentary. We had Gunther out there. Ludwig Kaiser was with him.
Yes.
There was going to be a match with Shinsuke.
That's it. That's exactly why I hated Corbin on commentary. Nobody can do what Pat does when Shinsuke comes out. Don't even try. I know you were trying to mock it, but don't do that.
Okay, so Shinsuke took on Ludwig Kaiser, defeated him. Gunther got pissed and whooped Ludwig
whooped.
after the
It
match.
was a chalk
Well,
show.
yes, it was a whooping.
Okay, I
Still
have
a
to say
whooping.
one thing, Glenn. I don't know how you
Huh.
feel about this, but I think you're a big Shinsuke Nakamura fan like I am.
Absolutely.
But the possibility of a Gunther and Shinsuke match is the most excited I have been for Shinsuke Nakamura doing anything in a while.
Yeah. Taking out my contacts on the air because they're drawing out. And they're
Wow.
bothering my eyes. Isn't it weird? Do you wear contacts or glasses?
No, I'm just
So-
blind and I refuse to wear contacts or glasses. Legitimate.
I did that for
need them and I
years.
won't get it.
Okay, let me tell you a story about that.
God.
I had bad eyesight from using. Oh God, what please, I'm a storyteller. That's what I do. I entertain the people.
No, oh God, because I'm gonna get scared
Okay.
and go get glasses tomorrow.
No. So playing computers, video games, like bad eyesight, sat too close to the screen. Like I gotta squint to see something far away. I'm nearsighted. Have problems with that. So I got glasses, and I didn't like how they looked when I was a kid. Never wanted to wear them. So I didn't for years. And I tried contacts, or I didn't try contacts because I was afraid to. I'm at a convention once for like video stores.
Mhm.
And my friend is meeting Richard Simmons, fitness legend Richard Simmons.
Right.
And I'm looking at my friend, and I was squinting because it was far away. And Richard Simmons, the man that hugs obese people as they cry, and he helps them lose weight. I am squinting to see my friend and Richard Simmons, and Richard Simmons turns to me and mocks me. He does like a squinting motion at me, like mocking me. And that's when I was like, okay, maybe I need to get glasses. Because if Richard Simmons, savior of the masses, is making fun of me, then maybe it's time to take care of actually getting proper eyewear.
So I'll tell you my bad eyesight story. It's not as interesting, nowhere near as interesting as yours, but I can see up close, right? Complete opposite of yours. But I do this with my phone. I put it far away. I can never see the chat. I know I have an issue, right? So my parents, because I always work in front of a computer, both of them pointed out in separate occasions, maybe you should get glasses when they saw me like this, in front of my laptop. So I said, it's okay, I'll get my eyes checked. And because I promised my parents I would do that, I did. I went to the eye doctor. They told me I needed glasses. Got the prescription, and I've had it in my wallet for the last 3 years. So every time they tell me, have you gotten your eyes checked? I'm like, yeah, look, here's the prescription.
I need to get a new one. They won't give me contacts anymore. So the reason the contacts were irritating my eyes, these contacts are supposed to be worn for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, I found, they're good for like 3 months.
Oh,
like
God, Glenn,
before you have to throw it out and get a new one. No, you don't leave them in continuously. You take them out every night, put them in solution. But I'm just saying, like, these are getting a little rough. But no, I contacts were, so the first time I got contacts, I was very freaked out about touching my eyes.
Right.
Have you ever touched your eyeballs anymore? Maybe you've had a lash go in there or something, but you don't get in there. Okay. So, but now it's like, I'll just reach right in and yank out. Like, I don't care now. Now, 25 years on, I don't care. Like, I'm not precious about it anymore.
Maybe you'll inspire me to go get my eyes. Like, I probably need a whole new prescription at this point.
Yeah, but I'm glad I did it because seeing clearly and seeing comfortably is very important. So
that's great. I'd rather not see, because like what I can see now is disturbing. Imagine seeing clearly.
Okay, but Issa, imagine that you're at SummerSlam and Roman Reigns is just at a distance where he's out of focus. And you'll be thinking, if
Roman
only
Reigns in any situation. All I have to do is close my eyes. I see him right now, actually. Yes.
I love my wife, and I'm really into my wife, but I worry sometimes, and I'm like, man, like, I don't know if I have ever had passion for anyone the way that Issa has passion for Roman Reigns. I love my wife. I've been with my wife for like 18 years.
Anyone has that kind of passion, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh man, like I gotta work on, take a blue chew, do something. I gotta work on it a little bit, But okay, so Liv Morgan tonight. Oh, Liv Morgan is delightful.
Oh my God, I haven't talked to you since Money in the Bank. How happy were you? Like,
so happy.
They did that so perfectly, especially when Ronda got her in that ankle lock, because I really thought they were gonna have her fail her cash in, and I'm like freaking out, and then she finally did it. What a beautiful story! It's incredible, and I'm happy to see her and Bianca being the faces of Raw and SmackDown, like two perfectly organic baby faces. It's a beautiful thing.
No, I agree. And she's out there with Natty, so it looks like Natty's going to be like an interim feud.
But why?
And then,
But why?
Well, honestly, without Naomi and Sasha, what other stars do they have?
Raquel or I don't know, like Shayna Baszler, anybody but Natty.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like Natty. Jakey Bakey, thank you for the 99 cents. Appreciate it. I think that this promo was okay. Then Ronda came out though. It's like, you want to talk about, look at the organic pop and love that Liv gets from the crowd. And then when Ronda came out, like, isn't it weird the way WWE crowds are treating Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, I don't understand why, because I've always liked Ronda. I'm a big Ronda fan, but her first run was so perfect. I don't know what you could have done differently here to help Ronda. You know what I mean? And maybe the waiting of the match with Becky is what's hurting here. I liked Ronda's actions on Saturday. I've read some news and rumors and speculation that Ronda was the one that push for Liv to get this opportunity.
That's cool.
So I like Ronda a lot, and I wish that they just, I don't know, because even me, the biggest Ronda fan, I do feel like something is missing compared to her first run, and I can't figure out what it is.
No, I understand that. That makes sense. But yeah, we had Ronda Rousey versus Natalia. Ronda winning pretty easily by submission tonight. Not the strongest.
No, and it wasn't their strongest match either. There was a lot of issues with the leg that Ronda was hitting, and then all of a sudden she would kick her with that leg or pick her up like nothing was wrong, but then she was limping, and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't too smooth of a match.
What did you think of Max Dupree and Maximum Male
Oh
Model?
my god, I love it. I love
week?
this so freaking much.
Yeah, this was fun.
Oh my god, did you watch it last week?
I did watch it online. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, excuse me, sorry. Was that a tennis ball in their pockets, or were they just happy to see us?
Did you see, if you go to MaximumMaleModels.com, the disclaimer?
Yes,
no, but did you see the disclaimer if you go to submit?
I saw the disclaimer. I was going to tell you, I was live on stream. I got on the website. I read the entire disclaimer on my live stream. And guess what I did afterwards?
Huh.
I submitted an application for Roman Reigns.
So it looks like they're going to use some of those photos on screen, on TV stuff, but it was very clear this is not a model agency. They will not get you modeling work.
I love that they had to put a disclaimer in there too, it was hilarious. I love Massey and Mansoor. I do. Yeah. I think this is so ridiculous, and I feel people want to hate it, but you really can't. You really can't. Like, how can you? I get that it's not for everyone, but man, they're committed to this. They're committed to this bit.
Yeah. So Madcap Moss, in theory, it looks like they might have a little rivalry going. Aaliyah makes well, here's the but why. Here's the real but why. So, according to the internal rundowns tonight, Aaliyah and Lacey Evans were supposed to face Shotzi and Shayna.
Right, but Lacey Evans and her issues.
So Lacey was just going to keep entering until y'all made enough noise, and then she beat up Aaliyah. So Lacey's a heel now. Like, she was launched.
She's always been a heel, Glenn. Did I not? Have I not been preaching week after week that she's always been a heel?
Hardship.
No, what hardship? Then she comes out there and cuts a promo, and she's like, "Don't you guys know what I've been through?" Yes, we do. You told us for 10 freaking weeks in a row, Lacey Evans. Please shut up and wrestle already. We've had enough of hearing what you've been through.
Yeah, it was a little much.
It was stupid. It was stupid. But I know that you guys already gave me my flowers, but I called her a heel since week 1, since it started airing.
Okay, so the Usos defeated Los Lotharios tonight.
Why?
Oh.
Nothing made sense tonight. Nothing made sense tonight.
And then the Usos are gonna face the Street Profits again at SummerSlam because of the bad call on the pin.
Right. So why are they wrestling Menudo's rejects on a 2-minute match on a show that was 2 hours and we had like 20 minutes of wrestling, and 18 of them were not necessary.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Menudo again in a second because everyone likes our weekly Menudo talk. But word has it there's going to be a special guest referee for the title match, the tag team title match at SummerSlam. Who's the special guest referee going to be?
Wait, there's a special guest referee?
Yeah, Kayla Braxton's like, word's going around backstage. And all I could think of when she said word going around backstage, I'm like, yes, Kayla Braxton, the number one thing people are talking about backstage right now is who the special guest referee is going to be at SummerSlam. I'm sure that's what's on everybody's mind tonight backstage at WWE SmackDown.
So it's between the Usos and the Street Profits?
Yeah.
I have no idea. You have any guesses?
I mean, if
Solo
Naomi was...
Sikoa.
Yeah, Solo, yeah, I was going to say if Naomi, they work something out with her.
Solo Sikoa.
Solo's a good call like that.
Yeah.
So the other night, I'm going down. I almost like sent you a text in the middle of the night, but I'm like, no, that's weird.
You should have. I was probably awake.
So we're talking about MDO and Menudo and about Abel, the little kid that was always mean mugging the camera in Menudo.
Yes.
And I didn't realize he stuck around for MDO. And if you look
Yes,
at
he
him
did.
now, he grew up to be cute, but he still like wears the hat. Like he looks now like Bud Bundy, like Puerto Rican Bud Bundy. Like,
why is that so accurate?
but he does. He's got that kind of Grandmaster B vibe to him.
He does. He does. He's still
it.
stuck in MDO days. Like he never grew out of that.
Still stuck in MDO days. But I wanted to send you the clip of the music video of Menudo's "I Want to Dance Reggae," where he's got the bad braids, like the faux dreads.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I told my mom I was watching the special, and she made me go down this weird. Because, I like Menudo, but they've been out since before I was even born. So my mom is like, oh, yeah, I remember this song and this song. And these were songs that I was not familiar with at all. And we went on like an actual legit argument because I wanted to play the songs that I remember. And she was like, but don't skip this one song that I didn't like. We had a whole Menudo argument.
Really?
Yes, well, my mom wanted me to play algo, una señora. I can't remember the song that she wanted, and I'm over here trying to play Súbete a mi moto, Todo va bien. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah, wait, how old am I? Was she like Phantasma's era? Like going to the early days?
Yeah, like the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, because late 70s Menudo is weird. Like, I'll pick up Fuego. Fuego was really the jumping on point, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I was very young, but I remember Fuego. And then after that, that's when the Johnny Lozada days. I told you he's my first crush. So those were my Menudo days.
No, absolutely. And I have to say, later Menudo is something more recently that I've learned about and been able to appreciate. There were some solid songs there.
Yeah, there were. There were. I just hate when they started calling them MDO. Hated it.
MDO. Yes. No, I agree. It was a very weird transition. But both MDO is reunited now and they're touring. So there's a shot. So
completely random, but we're talking about music. But did you hear about the Bad Bunny concert in Puerto Rico?
No, what now?
So he's doing a concert in Puerto Rico for 3 days. Unfortunately, it's when I'm in Nashville for SummerSlam, so I can go. But the tickets are only available physically at the place. You have to go to the place to buy these tickets. Because the last time he did a concert here, a bunch of people bought the tickets online and flew in, and they took tickets away from the locals. He don't want that to happen this time, right? So the tickets go on sale tomorrow. The line is already wrapping around 2.5 miles from from the arena.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
If I wasn't going to Nashville, I probably would have been doing the podcast from that line tonight.
Wow. Does he have a movie coming out soon?
Yeah, Bullet Train with Brad Pitt.
That's right. It was all over the TV tonight.
I know. My both of my beautiful men, Bad Bunny and Roman Reigns. All over.
While we're off topic, before we get into talking about this main event and this dumb thing.
Yeah.
So I started playing this video game the other night called The Quarry. Have you heard about The Quarry?
No, I haven't.
So The Quarry is like a throwback to Friday the 13th and 80s horror. But it's got like a lot of quick time events. It's got a lot of decision branching in the game, but it's teenagers at a summer camp. There's werewolves attacking them. But
I'm gonna like this game.
Yeah, there's 186 different endings to the game. Every character can live or die depending on what you do. And essentially it's like an 8-hour horror movie, like exceptionally gory at times. So me, like an idiot, started playing this last weekend in the middle of the night with the lights off, wife's asleep, and there's a ghost running around the woods. So I'm freaking myself out. And I finished it once already, but now I want to go back and play it again. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, all the platforms.
Right.
For the Corey, but yeah, I'm having a really good time with this game. Definitely want to go back and see all the different endings now.
Do you know who Mr. Nightmare is on YouTube?
No, that sounds potentially terrifying though.
So he does videos, but he tells real stories, right? So
Oh,
viewers
gotcha.
submit their stories to them, and he tells real like scary stories, like Home Alone horror stories or this or
Yeah.
that, right? But the other night he uploaded a video where it was like real scary videos captured on Ring camera, like
Oh,
the
yeah,
Ring
yeah, yeah.
doorbell. I don't know why that video freaked me out. I watch scary movies. I'm into all that true crime,
Oh.
serial killer. For some reason, those videos from the Ring cameras of things that really happen freak me out. I'm watching it at like 3 a.m. by myself, all alone.
I'll do you one better. You said so. I've got multiple cameras around our property, and even like different providers.
Right.
So it's like, if one goes down, like the other one's up. And the other night I get a notification from the camera that's pointing out our kitchen window where it's like motion notification, like 1 a.m. So normally you think like car drove by, maybe a delivery. God forbid, maybe somebody's checking for unlocked car doors. It is Vegas. It does happen. But I watch the video and it's pitch black, and I just see this little thing just run by. And so we think there's a rat that's living in our roof, because now 3 nights, like I've just got this notification in the middle of the night, and it's just this rat scurrying by the camera. So tonight I'm going to try and put multiple extra cameras outside just to see exactly where it's going to and from, so we can pinpoint it. But I'm freaked out because I don't want to do anything cruel in getting rid of it. But it's against the law to actually, it's against the law in Vegas and most places. It's actually against the law to trap pest and transport them for release, because you would think that's like the most convenient option. It's against the law.
What the hell? You would think that that's the easiest way to do it without hurting them, or like you said, being cruel about it. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's going to be my adventure tonight. After,
let me know how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be good times. Maybe I'll post the video online. So
the main event, another match that was supposed to happen that never happened. Yes, let's talk
Drew
about
McIntyre versus Sheamus, and one of them is going to get a championship opportunity, Clash of the Castle. It's been long thought that was going to be Drew McIntyre, so I think they're prolonging the inevitable because Sheamus don't want to fight. Sheamus said he hoped he didn't have a case of the old COVID.
It started coughing like with everybody around him. What was that? I hope I don't have COVID on everybody. Like,
in case anyone doubted if Vince McMahon was backstage or involved in tonight's show, that should tell you.
Hey, listen, Raj said this company could not run without him. Okay, this is why. This is why Glenn Rubenstein.
Yeah, because who else? So who fought in Sheamus's place tonight?
Butch
took on Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre won. Ridge Holland attacked McIntyre after.
Of course he won. He killed him.
Yeah, this was just a dumb main event. I don't know why.
The whole show was stupid. And I'm talking about a show that had Roman Reigns in it. Again, upset. I don't care if Roman Reigns needs to take time off or whatever, but if you're only going to have a few appearances to build up to a match that nobody wants to see again and nobody cares about, don't waste them like this. Don't.
Yeah. You have him oiled up on a bearskin rug, reading from a book of erotic poetry.
With me feeding him grapes? Yes.
The Tornado Anthony Y said Butch is the safe word, right? He said
Butch. whenever I say something too extra about Roman Reigns, Glenn, you just say Butch and I'll stop.
But Drew hit the ropes with the sword, flames, I don't know, yada, yada, yada.
It was a horrible show to get through. Like, let's keep it real. I give it a 4 out of 10. And the 4 pinpoints are Liv Morgan. Roman Reigns looked beautiful. The male models. And, it's a 3 out of 10. Never mind.
Yes. So Rampage tonight. Pre-taped. This was all taped Friday. Or Wednesday.
Sure.
In Rochester.
Yes, it was.
Eddie Kingston versus Konosuke Takashita. What did you think of this match?
I thought it was fun. Eddie Kingston is so over. Do you not feel like they should be doing more with him? And I feel like, okay, so maybe they don't want to put certain titles on him, but now you have like 100,000 titles in this company. True. You have this Ring of Honor titles. Don't give him the Purity Belt because I don't think that's for Eddie Kingston. But there's a lot of titles that he could be in a contender of. You know?
Could you imagine if Eddie Kingston got the Pure Championship?
Purity Belt.
And he was like, okay, I'm not going to swear. I'm only going to act. Like, you could do a whole angle about Eddie Kingston trying to live a pure life.
This belt would be so much more funny. They treat it like a purity belt instead of whatever the hell a pure belt is. Like, I don't even understand. But I just love how over Eddie Kingston is, how much the crowd loves him, and I get that they're gonna go with Claudio and Hager for the first feud of Claudio, but I really wanted to see Kingston and Claudio
Yeah,
just based on
everybody
the
does.
comments that Eddie made.
But this was a great match tonight, and Kingston getting that win was a really good moment. And he's going to face Chris Jericho at Fyter Fest.
Yeah, it's like a barbed wire match or some crap like that.
Yeah, Shark Cage with the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Wait, there's a shark cage involved?
I believe so, yes.
Is there a shark involved?
Now, which is really weird too, right? Because WWE is guilty of this as well. Like a shark cage, the thing that's cool about a shark cage is it's protecting you from a shark. There's nothing cool about the cage itself.
Right.
I
don't know. I've been swimming with sharks. Have you ever been swimming with the sharks?
I am terrified of sharks. I saw Jaws when I was 4 years old.
So did I, but I grew up in an island, so we're taught to.
That's true.
Suck it up, bro. If you see one,
As we learned from Jaws: The Revenge, they can show up anywhere.
Yes, oh my god, I will have to tell you off stream my nightmare, my recurring nightmare about sharks. You will laugh.
Okay. I know it's good if you could only tell it off screen.
No, it's not. It's ridiculous. I just feel like we've gone on for so long that do you really want to hear about my stupid shark nightmare that I've had like a million times in my lifetime?
I'm generally interested. You know, if you want to do it now, we could save it for later. You know, but you can't tease it this much, Issa. You can't tease the audience and not deliver on this.
I'll tell you. You know how everybody has like a recruiting nightmare? I have a few, but this one sticks with me because I've had it since I was like little and I still have it. And it's a dream that I'm swimming in the beach of the town that I grew up in and I see a shark fin, right? Like sticking out of the water. Yeah. So I'm like, I start swimming towards the shore and the shark's still coming. And then when I finally get out of the ocean, the shark literally gets up, grows legs, puts on a pair of sunglasses and starts foot racing me. It's not funny.
Okay, but if a shark gets out of the ocean and then puts on sunglasses, I think, well, okay, clearly this is a cool shark. I can't be that afraid.
Oh, yeah, the coolest. He is actually cool. He's got like a big smirk as he's chasing me.
Yeah, like does he play the saxophone too? I mean, you know, does he skateboard
or just the sunglasses? And I'm pretty sure those are Ray-Bans. I'm pretty sure the Ray-Bans.
Ray-Bans are the coolest sunglasses.
I know, but why is he growing legs and chasing me like that? Like I swim out. Like, you know, what more do I have to do?
I know. I have really weird nightmares. I have stress dreams about things that I wake up and I'm like, oh, thank God that was just a dream. Or I'll dream about like old friends or old relationships or just like, I have very random dreams.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks I've been having very intense, really weird dreams. And I don't know if it's because of the lack of sleep. I think I've been sleeping like 2 hours every night, but I've been having insane dreams.
Yeah.
The shark hasn't chased me. The shark hasn't chased me in a couple of months though. So
I wouldn't mind like a strong recurring dream. What I don't like, and I don't know if I've ever revealed this before on the podcast, like everybody has like sex dreams. But I have sex dreams like you remember when you were a kid and there'd be like an R-rated movie that had a lot of sex in it?
And well, you're talking about the Cinemax kind that didn't really show anything, but you thought you were watching something naughty.
You know, like just like the American Pies or the other movies, and you'll be like, okay, now we're gonna have a sex scene. So I would have, but then remember, like that movie would be shown on the USA Network, and they'd like cut all the sex parts out. So it's like, hey, we're about to get down to it, and then smash cut to like, well, that was really good sex. That's what my sex dreams are like. My sex dreams are like, oh, hey, things are about to get sexy. And then smash cut to, well, we had sex. What do you want to do now? And I'm just like, when do I get to experience the sex part of the sex dream? Like I'm having like safe for television, like PG cuts.
That makes me so sad for you. Even your dreams are PG. Glenn, you're a saint. You're a saint.
Like what did I do to deserve that? Like the TV edits.
Have you tried to watch something like, have you tried to watch a movie of that type before you go to bed?
No,
not edited, like the whole thing.
Well, what kind of movies? I mean, like educational films or
yes, of course.
No, I think it's weird, and I've tried. Since I was a child, this isn't sex dream related, but since I was a child, I have had this thought that if I watch something or think about something before I go to sleep, I will have a really cool dream about that thing. That has never worked for me ever. Never, ever, ever. And it's good and bad because I can watch a
That's
scary
never
movie and go
worked
to
for
bed.
me.
Yeah.
But you know what has worked for me? Continuing a dream. I don't know if this ever worked for you, but you ever go back to sleep trying to
I
continue
want it
a
to
dream?
happen. I want that to
It
happen.
has
A lot of it
happened to
never
me a couple
happens.
of times. It has happened to me a couple of times, which is rare because then it makes you wonder, did I really wake up in the middle of it or not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, dreams are weird. I mean, it's just a strange phenomenon when you think about it. That
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
I'm
Yes,
gonna
I'm
have
fascinated by
these
it.
psychotic episodes, like just in bed, and then you get like these weird pains in the middle of the night, or I'm always convinced I'm coming down with something, but it's just allergies, and it's only at night. I don't know. It's very strange.
Right.
It's all very strange.
You know what my other recurring dream is? That I'm stuck in a giant spider web and then I see this giant spider coming. It never gets. Why are all my dreams animals related?
I was gonna say, yeah, that's interesting.
And the best
Anyhow,
part is the only
Rampage.
animal I'm actually scared
Yeah.
of is a horse. I've never had a nightmare about a horse, but I hate horses. I just don't think they're trustworthy.
Wait, how do you hate
Like-
horses? I hate horses. I don't think they're trustworthy. I told a horse a secret once, and I swear to God, that bitch told everybody in the entire barnyard.
I bet on a horse one time and I lost my money. How can you trust that? Their
That's
eyes
true.
are the size of their head. Like, what are they trying to look at? What are they trying to look at, Glenn? Don't ever trust a horse.
Gonna remake 303. Don't trust a horse. Never trust a horse. Yeah. Okay. We gotta talk about Rampage.
Yeah.
The comments. Oh, I look forward to the comments on this show after having disabled them because I'm not editing anything. Athena and Chris Statlander talking about Jade Cargill. I like how they're building that. That's good.
It's being okay.
Video featuring Hook. We saw Gates of Agony. Sounds like an awesome metal band. Gates of Agony with Tully Blanchard versus Jonathan Gresham.
No clue who they were. Do you know who they were?
I didn't, but I thought they looked cool.
Okay, they look cool, but doesn't it make it harder for you to get into a match when you're not emotionally invested into the characters?
But it's kind of like an Authors of Pain sort of thing. I think even pairing them with Tully, like this has been done before.
Well, actually, I don't even know. This might not be the Wish.com version because the Authors of Pains are involved in their whole ass mess too.
So these guys are like the ghostwriters of pain,
Yeah.
They're the blogger. No, here we go. The bloggers of pain.
It took me a second, but I see what you did there.
So the bloggers of pain won their match tonight.
Yeah.
This is no disrespect to them. I'm just saying that this is the Authors of Pain formula. Like the same way Maximum Male Models is kind of riffing on Breezango and other things we've seen. Like this is very much the same format. And it works. It's the effect formula.
I just think, and not just Rampage, in Dynamite too, sometimes they'll put a team that you kind of care about against a team that you don't care about. It makes it very hard to want to get into these matches. That's all.
Yeah. Gates of Agony.
I mean, I'm glad they're doing something with Gresham, but then what about Lee Moriarty? Like, Lee's really good too, and he just laid there dead.
Well, what do you think of Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb versus Kayla Sparks and Christina Marie in a pretty...
I hope they're not starting a tag team division in the women's division in AEW.
Maybe.
They don't even know how to book their singles women, and everything that I've seen them do recently has been in like pairs, and I'm scared.
One of the big news, though, is that after this match, Mercedes, Serena Deeb put Mercedes Martinez in a submission hold. So,
right. But did you notice that Tony Khan is building more tag teams than WWE is, and they're the ones who have a tournament?
We're gonna have that tournament any day now. Any day now.
But hey, shout out to Vacant on his or her longest title reign ever.
I think Vankit's a they. I think that's their preferred pronoun.
Yeah.
So Mark Henry was backstage.
Yeah.
Mark Sterling. Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Danhausen. I don't like Danhausen and Orange Cassidy being together. It becomes a little too goofy. Like it's like Batman and the Penguin, from the old 60s series.
A great comparison, actually.
Or the Joker and the Penguin. Yeah, it's like I don't want to see it. They shouldn't ever be together.
Agreed. Because I feel like Orange Cassidy killed it at Forbidden Door, and some people that might have doubts on him starting to like see more in him, but then you put him, he's still a little silly. You put him with somebody that's a little silly, and it's just hard to take seriously.
And Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay, contender for match of the year so far.
Oh yeah, my favorite match of that night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hard pressed to think of many better matches than that bell to bell this year that we've seen.
Yeah.
That was a different Orange Cassidy theme tonight, right?
Yeah, he got his new song.
I missed the old
Supposedly
one,
he used this song in the indies.
Yeah,
the problem that I have with that is that like your audience might have not been familiar with that, and people really became familiar with the song that he had. So I don't know why they took it away. Maybe he requested it. Maybe, I don't know. You know how music rights work, but I like the other song.
Yeah, the Pixies "Where's My Mind" is an absolute classic, and I missed that. So Orange Cassidy took on Tony Nese tonight. Danhausen, Smart Mark Sterling. I mean, this was a fun main event. This went on for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a good match. Probably one of the best things that Tony Nese has done. I mean, he hasn't really done a lot, especially when he was presented as the hottest free agent, and they haven't gone on to do much with him. This was fun.
Like Tony Nese, the hottest free agent, really?
Yeah.
Good main event. Orange Cassidy getting that win. But yeah, taped Rampage, man. Taped Rampage always has a little bit like it's got.
And I avoid spoilers, but even the booking of the show just doesn't feel like they're trying very hard.
No, but here's the problem: it's like even if you're avoiding spoilers, you still see sentiment online where if someone's like, if no one's talking about it, like everyone was talking about the breakup of the Acclaimed and the Ass Boys Wednesday night, like that everyone was talking about. But if no one's saying like, oh, really hot Rampage this weekend could be a really hot show, if you're not hearing that, like you kind of know that this is just kind of status quo.
Yeah, I know. It didn't feel like you didn't even see anybody talk about this Rampage.
Yeah,
so, outside of Tony Khan in his tweets.
So it's a weird time in wrestling right now, this Vince McMahon thing. I mean, look, I think everyone knows where I stand on the issue, and probably where most people stand on the issue, that it's time for Vince to go. WWE is just going to continue to be in this weird state the longer he insists upon hanging on, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a weird day to watch wrestling with everything going on.
Yeah, Allison Tuckwab asking if we know what happened to Pat McAfee.
I think he had another he was doing something else, but they booked that storyline, so it was great.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll be back next Friday.
Roman Reigns, I don't believe, is retiring. He's just going on a reduced schedule.
If he retires, I'll retire.
Yes. Okay. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Follow Issa NYC Demon Diva, that's Diva with a 1. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein on the Twitters. Lou Diamond Phillips replied to me today. It's very exciting.
Way to go, Glenn.
Yes. I had a very important question from Lou Diamond Phillips.
What was it?
So he starred in a movie called The First Power. There's an awesome kind of like B horror movie from 1990. In fact, the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington kind of ripped it off, but it's about a serial killer that can like jump between bodies, like their psyche. So I really like that movie. Lou Diamond Phillips starred in it as the cop. The late great Eric Wright, Eazy-E from NWA. Apparently that was like one of his favorite movies. And in fact, he did something very similar to the movie The First Power, like a voiceover thing on the opening of one of his last albums. So I asked Lou Diamond Phillips, I was like, did you ever meet Eazy-E? Like you starred in like his favorite movie of all time. Lou Diamond Phillips mentioned he had not. He wished he had, but I thought that was just really cool that he responded. Also,
awesome.
Have you seen the movie La Bamba?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so this blew my mind. I also had this interaction today. He plays Richie Valens, who's 16 years old. Isai Morales plays Richie Valens' older brother, Bob, who's like 7 or 8 years older. In real life, Lou Diamond Phillips, I just learned this today. In real life, Lou Diamond Phillips is a year older than Isai Morales, who plays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's actually super interesting. I didn't know that.
It's crazy, but Lou Diamond Phillips just looks younger. And yeah, I mean, it's just Lou Diamond Phillips had a hell of a career. Great actor. But on that note, everybody watch a Lou Diamond Phillips movie this weekend. Treat yourself. I recommend The First Power or La Bamba or Renegades with Lou Diamond Phillips and Kiefer Sutherland, or The Big Hit with Mark Wahlberg and Lou Diamond Phillips. Anyhow, Courage Under Fire, also really solid. Have a great weekend. We will catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.